The storm rolled across the city that night, blacking out even the tallest skyscrapers. But inside one mansion on the hill, the silence was heavier than thunder. Two little girls, twins, no older than 7, sat in their darkened room, clutching stuffed animals. Their father, a billionaire known for his power and influence, could buy almost anything. But what he couldn't buy was light for his daughters, not the kind they needed. Because you see, Emma and Grace were blind. Since birth, their world had been shadows and silence. Despite every specialist and every dollar spent, hope had faded. The billionaire's empire could move markets, but it couldn't heal the brokenness in his daughter's eyes. And so, behind the gold gates and marble floors, the twins lived quietly, hidden away. Until fate brought someone unexpected to their doorstep. His name was Daniel. A single dad, a veteran who carried his own scars. He'd lost more than his fair share. His wife to illness, his home to bills, his sense of direction after leaving the military. But he had one thing left, a little girl named Lily. She was his anchor, his reason to keep standing. Daniel had taken a job as a handyman at the mansion. To him, it was just work, fixing leaks, repairing fences, patching the kind of cracks no billionaire even noticed. But one evening, as he walked past the twins' room, he heard it, the faint sound of laughter, mixed with frustration. Emma's voice was soft, trembling. "I wish I knew what purple looked like." Grace whispered back. "Maybe it's like music. Maybe we'll never know." Daniel froze at the door. Those words pierced him deeper than any bullet ever had. He couldn't walk away. Not this time. The next day, Daniel brought something unusual to the mansion. Not medicine. Not machines. But his daughter. Lily was only 9, bright-eyed, curious. She carried no fear in her heart. When she met the twins, she didn't see their blindness, she just saw friends waiting to be discovered. "Wanna play?" she asked simply. And for the first time, the mansion's halls filled with something that money had never bought, the sound of children running, laughing, discovering. Lily taught them games that didn't need sight, hide and seek with bells, stories acted out with voices, even painting with textures and colors she described in her own words. "Purple," Lily explained one day, taking their small hands and guiding them across a lavender flower. "Feels like calm. Like when you hug your dad and don't need to say anything." The twins' faces lit up. They felt purple. For the first time in their lives, they were living in color. The billionaire noticed. At first, he was wary. Why would his daughter spend time with a handyman's child? But then, late one night, he overheard something. Emma whispered to Grace. "When Lily is here, it doesn't feel so dark anymore." And that broke him. All his wealth, all his pride, none of it had given his daughters what Daniel's little girl had freely shared, the miracle of joy, of friendship, of light without sight. Weeks later, something extraordinary happened. A new therapy program was suggested, not by a doctor, but by Daniel. He'd spent nights researching veterans' rehabilitation techniques, exercises that retrained the brain. No one had considered them for blindness before. But with patience, he began to guide the twins alongside Lily, teaching them to map space, to hear shapes, to see through sound and touch. It wasn't a cure. But it was freedom. One afternoon, as the sun set, Grace reached out and traced her father's face with her hands. She whispered through tears, "Daddy, you don't feel so far away anymore." The billionaire broke down. For the first time in decades, not as a tycoon, not as a figure of power, but as a father. And then, the miracle. Months later, during a small breakthrough session, Emma gasped. A faint light, just a blur, flickered across her vision. Doctors confirmed what no one had dared believe: new neural pathways had opened. The girls weren't doomed to darkness forever. The mansion transformed after that. Where there had once been silence, there was now music, games, and laughter. And at the center of it all wasn't a billionaire or a doctor. It was a single dad veteran and his daughter, who had given without asking, who had loved without limit. When reporters later asked the billionaire about the miracle, His answer was simple. Money bought me walls. Kindness tore them down. My daughters didn't just learn to see, they taught me how to live. And so the story ends not with wealth, but with a truth we all need to remember. Sometimes the greatest miracles don't come from power or fortune. They come from the quiet courage of ordinary people, willing to share their light in someone else's darkness.